So I find digital art very hard, but I keep pushing through because I love drawing characters. Hi, hello, and welcome to the channel where I, a storyteller, create characters, worlds, and stories and share them with you. And today I'm going to introduce to you a new character, well, she's only sort of, that I created for a story that I am currently writing and hopefully will be posted on YouTube pretty soon, but I'm working on it. And part of the story creation process is working out my characters. And this is Kaya. She is the main character for a story that I call The Healing Flame. It's an action romance involving her and the other character you'll see me design a little later. And I decided to give digital art another try. Normally I do most of my work traditionally. I am primarily a traditional artist, but I recently bought a new tablet. By new tablet I mean it's a used tablet, but it's new to me, and a new computer. I've been having computer troubles for years, so I haven't actually been able to do digital drawing for a while. About 2 years now, I haven't been able to do it, so I now have the tools to do it, and I have been loving it and also frustrated by it, because Clip Studio is hard, digital art is hard, but I love my characters, and I love creating them, and I love drawing them, and I am both stressed and having fun at the same time. So I'm using Huion on Canvas 13 with Clip Studio Paint version 1 on an HP Victus laptop. And Clip Studio Paint is a very intimidating product to use. The first thing I did was close all the panels and then started adding them back as I saw fit. But that's enough of my digital art troubles. Let's talk about Kaya, this lovely young woman who I am drawing right now. She is the captain of a platoon of soldiers, and they are returning from fighting on the front lines of a war that has only ended a month before the start of this story. Well, technically the war didn't start until 10 months ago. The war technically only went on for 10 months. There were a lot of skirmishes and problems going on long before that, for the past 11 years or so. And she's from a mountain village on the border, and her village was one of the first to be attacked a decade ago when she was a child. So she's been fighting this war since she was a teenager. Hence, the short hair, the muscles and stuff. I really wanted to make her physically imposing. I didn't want her to look like, those cute anime girls, because that's not her role in the story. It's not her personality. She is a captain. She commands an army. She has fought in the front lines for most of her life. And I wanted that to show a bit in the way she stands and just her physical size, because she is at the very least 5'10". She's supposed to be a tall person. She's not wearing her uniform in this drawing because, and this is very important to the story, 2 weeks before the start of the story, she got into a fight with an assassin and he almost killed her. And she's still recovering from the injuries from that fight. So she can't actually wear her military uniform. It's just her injuries won't allow it. So she wears a loose shirt and loose pants. I also wanted her to have darker skin because she's been fighting for years. Like, she's not going to be pale. She's going to have been in the sun for most of her life. At the start of the story, and well, through most of the story, her main goal is to get to the capital to talk to the king to get her reward for fighting for so long. She wants the deed to the mountain where her village once was. She's the only survivor from the village, and she wants the deed so that she can go back and start rebuilding. And over the course of the story, her group, her gang of misfits just keep growing and growing. And eventually they all follow her back to this mountain to make their home on the mountain. She is not the kind of person who holds grudges. One of the running jokes of the story is that her right-hand man, Curtis, who I've already designed, so don't worry, you'll get to meet him soon. He's actually from the other side, And when they first met, he did try to kill her, but now they're very close, and he's a shield bearer essentially. Which, yes, he does feel guilty about the whole her almost dying thing. And because of her whole attitude, the fact that she is a born healer, that's what her village specialized in. She doesn't hold grudges against people who a lot of people wish she would hold grudges against. Now that the war is over, she doesn't see people from the other side of the mountain as her enemies. The war is over. There are no enemies anymore. So why are we still acting as if the war is still going on? And because of this attitude and the fact that she's just a really nice person who takes care of her friends, she just keeps attracting more and more people to join her on this journey back to the mountain. Well, to the capital and then back to the mountain. And I really like her. I tried to make a character who people would believe, that people would follow to the ends of the world, and I think I got it. I'm still working on the writing. I haven't finished writing it, but I'm really enjoying this story, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. And now for the second character. Now, the working title for this story was originally The Warrior and the Assassin. If Kaeya is the warrior, as I have explained, then Riker is most definitely the assassin. I always describe this character as a tsundere, but heavy on the dairy. Very light in the spoon. He's the kind of hypocritical man who would say, I don't care if you die while saving you, or I don't care if you starve while feeding you. So he has a gang of freelancers essentially. While I do call him an assassin, they really just take any job. It was the time of war. All of these people grew up in war-torn areas. Their families are dead, they have no parents, and they all join this gang. And Riker eventually kills the leader and takes over. And his gang is much happier with him in charge. He's the one who stabbed Kaeya. I know technically that's a spoiler, but anybody who has ever read or watched any story like this, as soon as I said the warrior and the assassin and the fact that Kaeya got stabbed by an assassin, would know it's him, but they don't know that it's each other. They're not going to find that out until later because it was at night and they were both wearing masks, so they don't realize that they're the ones who tried to kill each other. And Kaeya got the most obvious injuries, but Riker didn't leave that fight unscathed. He got poisoned. Kaeya might be a healer, but sometimes you have to fight poison with poison. So he is pretending to be a very weak, average man, and Kaeya finds him half dead. I mean, he really was half dead, but she didn't find him. He approached her, and his whole goal is to find the healing flame, because he thinks it's the only thing that can save him from the poison that is killing him. Of course, things are never really that serious. He doesn't even technically know what the healing flame looks like or does. All he knows is that he is dying. They can't find a cure to the poison, and the only person who might have a cure is Kaeya. He also plans to kill her if necessary. Of course, that means they then fall in love. This story isn't necessarily going to be anything groundbreaking. It's a short story series that's going to have about 8 parts, and I plan to do an audio version of them over Speed Games and post them for free on YouTube so that people can binge listen to them while they do chores and stuff, which is what I like to do. I like listening to stories and things like that while I'm working on stuff. And because it's so short, I didn't want to make things too complicated. So the characters, I tried to make them as deep as possible. But I'm also relying on some tropes to make things easier for the viewers and the listeners to pick up on what their deal is quickly so that we can get to the fun parts. And that's like what I did with them. We know they're going to fall in love. The fun part in these kind of stories is what happens when they find out the true identity of the person they have fallen in love with. What happens when Riker finds out that Kaya is the one who poisoned him, and Kaya finds out that Riker is the one who stabbed her. That's where I am looking forward to writing. There is going to be other problems and other fights. Each episode is supposed to be very self-contained, and we'll see more characters joining the story, more problems they have to fix. He is an assassin, and normally he has a more imposing figure, but because he's dying, I wanted to make him skinny. And because he's now in Kaya's care, she's essentially the one paying for all his clothes and everything because she takes care of her people. I figured that she would dress him in very comfortable clothes, so he's not going to be wearing his, assassin cloak or anything. He's going to be in a soft sweater, some pants, and some shoes. In one of the drawings that you'll see later on, not in this video, but later, she buys him a jacket and forces him to wear it because he is pretty skinny at the beginning of the story, and then as the story continues and he gets cured, we'll see him get stronger and stronger. I really like how this came out. I think he looks pretty playful. He's kind of an immature guy. Also not the brightest, but I love him anyway. And drawing him was a lot of fun. I really liked adding in those light brown seam lines to his pants and his pockets and stuff. Yeah, this was fun. I had fun. You can see me playing around with more gradients. Digital art is hard. So I really wanted to draw a finished piece that got across the vibe, the emotions, the relationship in like one piece. But I don't really draw these kinds of artworks very often. Finished digital artwork that is trying to tell a story. I am a relatively new artist. I've only been drawing since my 20s. So I wasn't a kid that spent all their time drawing. No, I was a kid that spent all their time writing. But I really wanted to tell a story with their pose and with the background and everything. And I was looking at some reference images and I saw a couple. And the first thing I thought when I saw them embracing was that one of them was trying to stab the other. That wasn't the case, but I really liked how that idea would have fit in with the two of them because he wants to kill her. He hates the person who poisoned him, and he doesn't like Kaya when they first meet. She always kind of thought he was cute, but he did not like her. So the idea that I would have the two of them standing with him trying to stab her, and her holding the sword and smiling at him anyway, because remember, she's not the kind of person who keeps grudges. I just thought it fit their characters and their dynamic so well. And I'm not really good at character interactions, but I really think I've been getting better at it. They actually look like they're interacting, and that was pretty cool to see. Because sometimes you're drawing and drawing and drawing, and it feels like you're not making any progress, and then you just do a piece, and it's like everything just fits. That happened when I sketched out these two characters. The background was a different story. The background took me days to figure out what I wanted to do with the background. So you can see me trying like a happier background with them in a field with a tree and stuff. And then I realized that didn't fit their vibe at all. So you'll see me change it later to something that makes more sense later on in the story. I know I spoiled the fact that he's the assassin, but that was kind of expected. As soon as I was telling my dad and my brother the story, they were like, he's the one who stabbed her, right? And my dad was like, and she's the one who poisoned him. At the time, I hadn't even decided to have it be that she was the one who poisoned him. But some cliches are just perfection, and they don't need to be changed. And I love that enemies to lovers thing. So the background that I will add in later has to do with a later episode. So I won't explain that too much. I just want to gush about my characters some more. Like, look at them. Look at how they actually look like they're standing on the same ground and touching each other. That is so hard. That's just something that I've always struggled with. And you can see in some of my older sketchbooks, I think sketchbook 7, I was really trying to practice getting interactions better. I finally started to get them good. I will introduce some other characters later and you'll see how much I've improved with character interactions, because Nora and Gracie, that drawing where I introduced those two characters, they look so well together. So these are the main characters, but I do have other characters, and like I said, there are other characters that join into their party as the story goes on. Yumi Curtis, like I said, he is her right hand, her shield bearer in a sense, and Nora and Gracie, more friends of hers. Arlo, who's the second in command for Riker, and a few other characters like Gunther and some other characters I haven't named yet. But I'm having a lot of fun writing this story. And you can see in each of these pictures I tried something different. I tried to experiment a little more. So in this drawing I experimented with changing the color of the line art. I don't think I really like doing that though. I'm not sure about that yet. I'm still playing around with the kind of art I want to make, because I love thick black line art, but I also really like that soft digital painting like in League of Legends splash art. I really like that. But I also really enjoy thick black line art with heavy black shadows. Oh, the other thing I was struggling with this piece is I prefer the blur effects that you can get in Procreate, because one of the things I really like to do is a quick, easy painting for the background of a character, of like just a setting. I just put paint on the background and then blur it, and I think it looks really cool. But I could not get the blur to look properly, like with the castle being on fire, and I didn't want the castle to be too clear because I wanted the main characters to really stand out from the background. I'm not sure if I got that right. I tried to, but digital art has been a struggle. And Clip Studio Paint is a complicated program. I know people say it's intuitive. It's not. Why is the lasso tool M? I get that the gradient is G, but why is the lasso fill tool G also? And the liquify and the blend is both J. Why? I don't understand that. I know I could change it, but I don't want to. I just memorized where the keyboard shortcuts are, and I've been getting a lot faster. Like I said, the first drawing took me about... No, it didn't take me 2.5 hours. It took me about 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'll have to go back and check, but it took me almost 3 hours to do, and then later on my drawings actually get much faster. 1.5 hour, 1 hour and 15 minutes, which I know sounds really, really fast considering people like Mark Brunet has said that they would spend 6 hours on shading alone. But it's also the style that I do. I have a very graphic style sometimes. If I'm doing something that I want more rendered, it will take me longer, but then I don't have the patience for that. I don't know how people could spend so long working on the same drawing. That's something I need to work on, putting in more time into my drawings. But yeah, these are they. I hope you enjoyed watching that and watching me struggle. You don't see half my struggle because it's so sped up. You don't see how much time I just sat and stared at my computer screen. But it was still fun. As I keep saying, it's frustrating, but fun. And I really like how all these pieces came out. And I hope you enjoyed them too. I hope you enjoyed hearing about this story. And I hope you want to hear more. If you do, then make sure to subscribe so you'll get to meet the other characters and hear the story for yourself. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.